Boom, and we're recording. What the fuck is up, everybody, and welcome to Punch Drunk Philosophy Outdoors, Indoors. In the second show, I've abandoned the actual premise because we're in Scandinavia right now, Copenhagen to be specific, and it is fucking cold.
It's cold as fuck.
Yeah,
And
and
that's saying something. I'm from the Netherlands and I still think this is very cold.
England is always the butt of bad weather jokes, but it's very prompt here. You have like a bit of sun and then hail. We had bouts of hail yesterday, so
It actually hurts your face.
there have been attempts to make this outdoors. We were in Roskilde yesterday. Thought like, yeah, let's do one by the lake, but yeah, I can't have my equipment be absolutely destroyed. Anyways, I am Adam Reel, and joining me for the first time on Punch Drunk Philosophy is my IRL waifu, my
Merel
queen,
Arts.
Merel. How are you today?
I'm okay, still a bit tired. We woke up quite early.
Yeah, for some reason. But yeah, we have a Danish flag in the background. We are in Copenhagen right now. We've been here for, I don't know, how long have we been here? About 4 or 5 days?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 or 5 days, and we are going to Malmo, Sweden.
Yay!
Yeah. Okay, well, where can we start on this? There's a lot to get into that I wanted to talk about on the podcast. There's the French elections, the first round that's come around. British elections have been announced. Woo. Just, woo. I'd say I'm someone who's fairly involved politically and tries to engage on that kind of citizen level, but British general elections are just so fucking pointless. So anybody who understands our system, you don't vote for a prime minister, you don't even really vote for a party or government, you vote for an MP. So if you're the mass majority of seats in the country are very, very safe. So you're just sort of there. Like where I am, it's a Labour MP. It has been a Labour MP since '97, I think. Yeah, I don't really see that changing anytime soon. It's just an exercise in pointlessness. Unless there's just nobody really valid to vote for. I mean, the Lib Dems suck ass. Tim Farron used to be fairly decent, but yeah, they've just bleated the most nonsensical bullshit. They say like, oh yeah, you need to get Assad's wife's passport off. I can't really make up my mind as whether homosexuality is a sin. Yeah, the Lib Dems have just become an absolute useless entity, and plus they are the Remain party. They would actually seek to reverse Article 50 in its entirety. And Corbyn. The Labour Party under Corbyn. Jeremy Corbyn seems like a nice man, but he's fucking...
The party's a big joke.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay. In terms of parties that are jokes, the Labour Conservative Party is an entity that I think needs to be absolutely destroyed. They don't exist for the common good. They exist to preserve the current system. They exist to get PPE graduates jobs and people who've parachuted in after serving their time in special advisor roles or whatever. And yeah, they parachute them to safe seats. Yeah. It's just a fucked up, annoying system that perpetuates just all these twats.
Yeah, as an outsider looking in, it just looks like England and Great Britain is in general very politically stagnant. Just nothing seems to be able to change at the moment.
Yeah, we just get a slight pendulum shift every decade or so. And yeah, people saying because I'm generally right-wing and that I should vote Conservative, or well, we can get into UKIP. Okay, I'll get into UKIP before Conservatives. UKIP seems so incompetent on the ground level. Outside of Nigel Farage and their old guard, people like Derek Clark, MEP, their old guard from the 90s that really pushed it originally, that were quite intellectual, I've not seen anything remotely good from them.
Yeah, if UKIP was just like a party just full of Nigel Farages, it would be votable, but...
Yeah, it's... And plus, it's really failed to define its relevance in a post-Brexit era, because it was sort of seen as a conservative pressure group originally, and it's achieved its biggest goal. So now what's it going to do? And then it comes out with key policies being like a burqa ban, which I don't agree with. I don't agree with any kind of banning of shit like that. And then like they were talking about mandatory FGM checks. Like it was just so poorly articulated and formulated. Just wait, so you're gonna look at a load of random people's vaginas? Like, how is this going to work? I don't think they have any idea. But yeah, in terms of Conservatives under Theresa May, obviously I am pro Brexit, but yeah, fuck voting for the person who put in such monstrosities as the Snoopers Charter. So fucking DEFRA can read my emails. So yeah, well, there's that.
That sounds so scary to me, to be honest.
Oh yeah, it is. Britain is fucking terrifyingly authoritarian. We are a CCTV state, but we can't catch that many people who murder people. We're a CCTV state. Thankfully, Tony Blair's idea of ID cards got shut down quite quickly, but Theresa May is somebody who I do not trust on that front. I do not trust on the civil liberties front at all. I think GCHQ as an entity is something that needs to be massively, massively reduced, as with the civil service in general. But in regards to Labour as well, have you seen the dumbass policy about schools that I told you about? I think that encapsulates just everything wrong with their thinking. They think like, all right, we're gonna give everybody free school meals. Like everybody gets meals. Everybody. Like, oh well, I can just give my kid a meal. No. You'll get a free meal. Okay. And how are you going to pay for this, Mr. Corbyn? It's like, well, we're going to add VAT to private school fees. Private school fees. People who pay for their kids to go to private school and thus take them out of the system, thus save the taxpayer. VAT in this country is 20%. So add a 20% charge on that. Nobody's going to go to private school, thus nobody's going to be out of the system saving the taxpayer money. So instead they're going to go back into the state system, and it's going to cost everybody more in the long run, but it's fine because you get to punish people who are slightly well off. And that's Labour's mentality.
Yeah, and they just seem to be quite authoritarian and just want to be like, we want to control all the children. We want them in our schools so we can control them. In private schools, they can't do that, so...
Yeah, well, it's something like that, and there have been talks about reducing homeschooling. That could be coming from any part of the bunch. But it's just indicative of, oh, we want to punish slightly well-off people to feel better. It doesn't matter if it makes actual economic sense, if it actually improves people's lives. I am fine with the private sector taking on state burdens. You can't
expect a Labour Party to know much about economics. I'm sorry, but...
Yeah, sorry, I'm expecting socialists to be economically competent here. What am I thinking? It was a smart move to call the election, though, on May's part. We've had circumstances like Jim Callaghan in the late 70s takes power after Harold Wilson leaves office, and the same with Gordon Brown succeeding after Tony Blair in 2007. Both of them called elections immediately. After succeeding that way, they would have retained their power for 5 more years. Because when you're new, you've not had as much chance to fuck up.
Yeah.
You've not had as much negative stuff that people associate you with. So you're just another candidate. And when you win an election, you can actually legitimise stuff. And
because at
especially...
the moment, Theresa May is just seen as a legitimate candidate. She wasn't elected, so if she...
Yeah. Well, yeah, but to be honest with that, like, you can make an argument for any of our prime ministers legitimately elected outside of their parliamentary constituency, because I sure as shit didn't vote for David Cameron, but he was there. He won a thing in 2005 to say he could be the leader of the Conservative Party, and then sort of won... his party sort of won a few seats in 2010, and then hey ho, he's Prime Minister. I was like, okay, I never voted for this dude personally. I mean, it seems fucking retarded that we don't have a separation of powers, even though you vote for the president directly in a separation of powers in a place like France or the US, but they are way, way less powerful in the system than a Prime Minister. Like a prime minister can get so much more shit done directly unchanged because they command a loyalty in the legislature. Uh, I just have absolute fucking disdain for our politics. I hate British politics. I hate it so much. But yeah, my point being about calling the election is like Callaghan had the winter of discontent in 1979. Thought like, it's okay. I'll just blast it. Oh yeah, brief explanation for this for foreigners. In our system, we have 5-year terms for our government, but the government can call an election early if they so wish. Well, Parliament can call an election early. If there's a majority vote in Parliament, they call an election. That's an advantage. So, in a situation like this, when it might be a rocky few years, and it would be nice because over the Article 50 process, if we had a stable government for 5 years until 2022, and we know what's happening and what the government's policies are through it. So Callaghan in 1979 had the winter of discontent that he could have avoided and probably got re-elected if he called the election as soon as he rose to power. And Gordon Brown as well. 2007, it'll be fine, things will be all right here. Nothing's going to happen bad between 2007 and 2010. All's going to be wonderful. And then the fucking world ended. I remember those times. It was like, wait, what's happening with banks? It's like, where'd all the money go? Okay. Oh, it's okay. We can sell off our gold reserves. Like, oh no, wait, Gordon Brown sold them all off as Chancellor at the historic lowest price for gold ever. Ooh. So, yeah, Gordon Brown probably would have been secure until 2012 if he called an election in 2007 because everybody was kind of happy and optimistic. But, yeah. So following with this pattern then, there's probably going to be some really bad shit happening in the next few years that Theresa May's going to avoid. Will the Netherlands take me in?
Of course.
Yay. Okay. Well,
you've been learning Dutch, so...
I have. I've been trying out my Danish as well. In here, how embarrassing was it? English people abroad. English, seriously, please, just learn a bit of other people's languages. Don't just sort of expect that everybody in the world speaks English and will conform to us. There were people in front of us in a queue to something, and it's like the woman just sort of turns around and spoke Danish to them, and she go, oh no, English please. I'm like, for fuck's sake, acting so surprised and insulted that a Danish person would speak Danish in Denmark.
Yeah, I would never have expected that. People speak their native language in their native country.
Yeah. I don't know, because it's not hard. Even if you just learn, if you're in a city like Copenhagen or Amsterdam or I don't know, Stockholm, where English speakers are pretty easy to come by. Just, I don't know, say, tale du engelsk, you ask if they speak English, and then, go from there. Imagine, you're in England and someone comes up to you, it's like, bonjour, où est le gare ici? And it's like, okay, even if you do speak some French, it's just kind of weird to walk up and assume that you can. And especially it's not hard, before you go somewhere, just we're going to Sweden later today, so I'm looking up some extra Swedish phrases to pick up, and I think my Dutch was all right when we went.
Yeah.
And
I remember at Body World Day, they even thought that you were actually Dutch.
I was so fucking smug about that. I've been smug at these, I think I've been all right in Denmark with a bit of Danish.
Well, yeah. There have been a few times that I didn't notice that you were foreign.
That's nice. I'm thinking I'm trying to pick up some Swahili for going to Nairobi. I'm thinking I'm going to have a harder time passing off as a native there, but I'll give it a go. It's but languages are fun. Okay, well we can go into the French elections if you want.
Sure.
Or have I asked you much about your opinion on the British elections? We can go back to that. Well, what do you think?
Yeah, in general, it just seems like there's nothing good to vote for. It's just strange to me because in the Netherlands, when I well, the elections were a month ago or something. When I went to vote, I still had choice, and I could choose out of a lot of people, because remember, we have 80 political parties, 40 were allowed to go with the election, so I had more than enough to choose from. So it just sounds, it's just weird to me that you just like...
And you have a PR system, which means like if you vote for someone, they actually get represented.
Yeah.
Whereas if you vote Green here, or UKIP, or anybody other than Labour Conservatives or SNP up north, or Lib Dems in very isolated pockets, like, might as well have fucking chucked that in the bin.
Yeah, I voted for like a very small party.
Forum voor Democratie.
Yeah, Forum for Democracy. And they still got only 2 seats, but they got 2 seats, while in other systems like that doesn't happen.
I think, UKIP got a ridiculous percentage of the vote last time around, and got 1 seat.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
It was like, oh, okay. And Lib Dems in 2010, they got 1 million more votes than they did in 2005, but lost 3 seats.
That makes no sense.
And then they got in government and everybody complained. But I miss Nick Clegg. 2010, like before May 2010, Nick Clegg, he was so nice. And he speaks such good Dutch.
Yeah, I've seen it. He even gets the very little mannerisms native Dutch people have. So I feel like he must have grown up around Dutch people, because otherwise you don't just pick that up from learning the language.
Yeah, I think he's got a mother who's Dutch. Yeah. But yeah, his French, he's got a Spanish wife as well. I think I've heard that he speaks Spanish like a Dutch person.
That's possible.
He speaks French as well, German. Talented guy.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Paddy Ashdown as well. Paddy Ashdown, who used to lead the Lib Dems. He was a polyglot, could speak like 10 languages, including like Mandarin, Chinese, Arabic.
Yeah.
Really fucking impressive. Britain. Historically bad with languages, so it's really fucking impressive when somebody's able to pull that off.
Yeah, and I didn't vote for him, but Thierry Baudet keeps trying to speak Latin or Greek during debates, and
Nothing says in touch like busting out the Latin.
Well, to be honest, it was a quote by Cicero, so it's understandable. But hey, to be honest, another person just randomly spoke Turkish, so...
Oh, yeah. Well, we have, our politicians here are like desperate to hide their Latin or anything, because we've got the poshest fucking politicians in the world, but they always try and hide it. They've gone to Eton, they've been members of the Bullingdon Club, they've like put their dicks in dead pig's mouth, all the kind of things that you associate with high class. They've done all those, and Boris Johnson as well, the Mayor of London. I spoke to someone who drove him around, and he said before he gets out of the car, he always like ruffles his hair, like trying to ruffle his tie, trying to present himself as this buffoon, and because they want to go on Sky News and people to see like, oh, they're not that different from us. It's like they're very fucking different from everyday people. And you talk about MPs in general. There used to be, I guess, a distinction between the Labour Party and the Conservatives. And the Conservatives would be very, very heavily the kind of private school, Oxbridge, the background. But now that's the same on the Labour side of the bench as well. Oxbridge do PPE, comes from private school, goes into like government jobs, gets parachuted into a very safe seat, works as an MP, sucks up the right way to become a minister and then eventually secure a leadership position. There's very little distinction in that regard. But now the distinction is one wants to implement insane socialist policies. And the other, we're not insane socialists. It's, again, an election of who do you not want? Which is a great way to transition to France.
Yeah.
Okay, in regards to France, I was disappointed with the result because I like Fillon.
Yeah.
If I thought
He's closest to.
yeah, Fillon and Le Pen. I think Fillon is economically competent. He ideologically matches up with me, right wing, and he seems like he'd adequately address the issues in regards to security, immigration, and hopefully the EU. I mean, I don't think he's a full-on Frexiter, but
he seems to be nuanced in all of his stances, so it's kind of expected.
Which you probably have to be as a politician because everything is fucking nuanced. I hoped he would reach the final with Marine Le Pen, so she would contribute at least to the national dialogue. There'd be good points raised about EU membership, migration, security, especially with Paris. Paris has got so fucking bad in the last 10 years.
They put up like a wall around the Eiffel Tower, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, there's lots of stuff they've had to do security-wise. If you want to look at it on the ground, Tim Pool's journalism is really, really good on it. I recommend him all the time, but it's the best kind of most objective, truth-based. I'll say the same thing about Malmo later, but look up Tim Pool. But instead of Fillon, we've got Emanuel Macron, who there's a meme going around from I think it's a Monty Python sketch where it says exploding is a perfectly normal medical phenomenon, which sums up his stance to security.
Just people, we just have to expect that at any moment you can be blown up.
It's just terrorism is normal, guys. I don't know what you're talking about. We've always been blown up randomly and had lots of ideological shootings from religious extremists in nightclubs. Yeah, you're supposed to be afraid when you go out. How dare you expect to be safe and the gay community not be targeted?
Yeah.
And it's how dare you expect not to have no-go zones in your cities? That's just normal. That's everyday European life now. Get used to it.
It's not like it's a symptom of doing multiculturalism wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the United States, they did it right.
Well, I think Britain's done it right for decades.
Yeah. Especially in your Sikh and Indian population, Polish population.
Well, those I'd say all our populations in general have had very good effect, especially immigration from the 50s from our good old colonial friends. People who've got every fucking reason to hate us, but have come and contributed wonderfully to British life. And even EU migration recently with Polish people. I think historically we have a debt to Poland over the Battle of Britain and fighting fascism together through there. So and I think Polish culture is I think it's a really, really underrated country, Poland. I think especially in terms of masculinity and what people and everyday people being very capable and independent.
They seem to be very hardworking is very important to them.
And just being very generally well-rounded and skilled. I would always admire. I mean, I've been there a couple of times. I've always admired it, always liked it, and its influence economically in the UK. I think it contributes very well.
Yeah, in the Netherlands, immigration went very well at first. Especially, we also have some colonial past. Indonesians, great. Lots of European immigrants, great. But a few years ago, we changed our immigration policies, and then it kind of went wrong.
Yeah.
Especially because now all of a sudden lots of people come to the Netherlands, and it happened that 5,000 people or more weren't checked at all. Not even a quick look at the passports, nothing.
Well, did you see that there was a caller to LBC recently? The wife of the immigration worker said that people they've got lots of ISIS propaganda on their phone, blatant. Probably could be wearing a T-shirt that says I want to destroy everything. I am here to kill people.
Yeah,
this. land with the rest.
Yeah, it's terrible. They actually, it ended up in the Netherlands that we have like separate refugee centers, like ones for the people who are normal, like people who are gay or Christian or just in general normal who came here because they like our culture.
People who like democracy
Yeah,
or don't think who think they should be able to insult someone's sky daddy.
They have to be separated from people who want to kill them. So they came here to be safe, and then we still have to.
And we let in the people who want to kill them alongside.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like a very safe refugee program.
Yep.
But oh well. Anyway, let's talk about Denmark, I guess. How have you enjoyed the trip so far?
On one hand, I did enjoy it, but there were a few harsh awakenings, or how do you say that? First of all, it's not exactly very vegan friendly here.
No, okay. Okay, we'll go into this point first then. We're both vegan. It's usually okay most places we go, but Denmark not fucking vegan friendly.
Not even one option at most places.
Yeah, usually people present. Also, they have this idea of Scandinavia. It's like, oh, it's so progressive, and it's not. And usually, that would at least translate. It's like, all right, cool. At least I can get some fucking tofu and falafel around. Like, no. In England, I've never gone to a place and not had any vegan options at all. Like,
yeah, I was kind of shocked when I went to the supermarket and they didn't have at least like soy milk. Like, no, not even that.
It's that seems a massive rarity here, and we even went to an Indian restaurant around the corner. Nothing vegan.
They put even butter and everything.
Yeah, they put butter and milk and everything. Aren't people lactose intolerant here or anything? Or
well, to be honest, it is true that in Scandinavia there are less lactose intolerant people, but they still exist. It's still the most common allergy in the world. So
it's, I don't know. It's there are vegan restaurants here. Like, people have a really skewed view of what it means to be a vegan-friendly city sometimes when you're researching for travelling. Yes, as in, you do a Google, like, vegan restaurant tour, and it's like, oh, yeah, there's a couple of vegan restaurants. But
that doesn't mean it's vegan-friendly.
Yeah, because, like, if you don't go to a vegan specialist place here, then you're very likely fucked.
And I sometimes complain that, like, the Netherlands isn't vegan-friendly, but this has given me a new appreciation. Like, actually, the Netherlands is very vegan-friendly.
It really is.
Yeah.
I've never had any trouble there. Even France is getting a lot better at it. France is quite decent now. But, yeah.
Here, no. Like, you'd expect, especially in the capital, that there would be more... There are more different kinds of people. You'd assume that they will have more different kinds of stuff at a supermarket. No. So it's like you can't eat out because there are barely any place to eat out at. And then when you go to the supermarket to make stuff yourself, it's just like, very expensive imported fruits and vegetables and rice and beans.
Pretty much that's what we've been living on. But we've done all right. We've done all right. We've had some nice food. We've been able to eat out a bit, just few and far between. Nothing that special. I had the lasagna in. Okay, another place we went to in Copenhagen before we get into like Copenhagen generally. Freetown Christiania. It's weird little pocket. Okay, the brief thing about the history of the place. I think it's a bunch of hippies sort of took it for affordable housing.
Shall I explain it?
If you want.
Okay, in the 70s, there's basically this abandoned military base, and that's kind of what happened. Everything was just expensive as fuck. That's kind of always been a thing in Scandinavia, to be honest.
Still is.
Yeah, but they were just like, okay, fuck it, we'll just take this place, we'll build our own houses, we'll just build everything ourselves and just leave us the fuck alone, kind of like that. And over the years it kind of has grown, like they just like built their own houses. I think they even built their own cinema. They made everything themselves. And to be honest, it is a very interesting place to visit. But I wouldn't want the whole world to be a hippie commune.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, it's quite interesting. It's very colourful. A lot of the art is really, really nice. Yeah. There's a lot of mixed reports. Like, I went on TripAdvisor. You either get 5-star, 3-star, or 1-star. views of the place. I think it's like 5-star that people go there because, oh yeah, weed is sold openly in what's called the green light district of it. You've got Pusher's Corner, a lot of people have called it. Yeah, people just have their weed out there for sale. The grade is not as good as Amsterdam. Whatever you're told, like some people saying online, like, ooh, like, yeah, it's better than Amsterdam. It's like, no, not even fucking close.
I was especially offended by a website that said that Dutch weed laws are regressive and backdoorish. You can walk into a shop and you can pick out different strains, and there's competition between the shops. And okay, it's like a gedoogbeleid. It's not completely legal, but at least it isn't being sold secretly in a hippie commune.
And you can sort of sit nicely by the canal in Amsterdam and have a joint, and it's all fine. Amsterdam is wonderful. Amsterdam is fucking paradise. Oh, why don't we go to Amsterdam? That would be so nice. I want to. We should just go back. I should just all my holidays there. But
especially King's Day is today, I guess. Yeah, today.
Ooh, happy King's Day!
Yay!
But
so yeah, and apparently it went very well. Like no violence at all. Everyone's just having a nice, good time. So it's just
yay. But okay, yeah. Well, yeah, like I was saying about TripAdvisor for Christiania, it's 5 stars, 3 stars, 1 stars. I think 5 stars are the people who, that's their thing. It's really interesting. They're not seeing anything like it before. They're interested in what it means ideologically, how it reflects on whatever their kind of worldview is. And it's just a sort of unique little part of town. In a city that's otherwise a kind of very generic European capital, I thought.
Yeah, it's kind of the only thing that sets it apart from the rest, I guess.
Yeah, and then the 3-star people who are sort of like, yeah, it's interesting, it's unique, but not my thing, and I don't like that weed is being sold openly. That kind of weirds me out. You know, the kind of older, more conservative crowd. And then the 1 stars are the people, I think, who brought a camera.
Yeah.
They, who got shouted at by hippies. It's kind of a mix there. A lot of people perceive it as having an aggressive tone, and then they get angry about that because that's hypocritical. Like, oh, I suppose it's supposed to be a loving or hippie commune. It's like, yeah, but it is a haven for illegal business, and these people do face prison a lot of the time and are risking it by pursuing this.
Especially since recently the police has been getting more involved in there, so it's understandable that they are very careful.
Why don't you just have fucking coffee shops, man? Copenhagen, just get coffee shops. If you like, they're desperate to.
That brings crime down drastically.
Oh God, yeah, it does. God, yeah, it's because who knows what you're funding when you're buying weed from Christiania? Like, I'm having some doubts, but not that I purchased anything, of course. Yes, but if I were to have purchased any horticulture that was on display, yeah, what would you be actually funding? What are the criminals? Who are they working for? But yeah, get coffee shops. I don't know. We were really disappointed when we first came to that because it's very, very boastful in its literature. The way it tries to represent itself abroad, like, oh, come to Copenhagen. It's very
most progressive city, best transportation system.
Yeah, it's so just such a self-masturbatory, egotistical campaign.
You go here with such high expectations, and then you know that everything is kind of mediocre, so that makes it even worse.
Well, it's just, they've seemed to have a really conceited effort to turn it into this, like, ooh, we're this, like, modern cosmopolitan European capital. And it's like, it's just kind of generic. I mean, so much of what you would describe as, like, uniqueness that would make a place cool seems to have been downplayed, diluted, and even erased in some places. I mean, a lot of people come to Scandinavia pursuit of Viking heritage and that sort of thing. Okay, admittedly, like, Copenhagen is a relatively recent town and not one that was prominent during the Viking Age, so you won't see that as much here. You go to Roskilde for that, which is fucking beautiful. Yep. I love that place. But so Copenhagen I just found quite disappointing in there, and the traffic there as well.
Those smaller towns like Roskilde are probably the real Denmark, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. Whereas Yeah, I mean, it seems quite a shame. Like some cities, some other cities in Europe do actually preserve their uniqueness. I mean, I hate to keep bringing up Amsterdam, but no, I don't hate to bring up Amsterdam. Amsterdam is fucking awesome. Amsterdam is a fucking brilliant place. Like, I had high expectations for Copenhagen. It didn't really meet it, and that was probably my fault for getting
Believe in
too
the propaganda.
overhyped. Yeah, well, getting too overhyped for it and thinking there's so much unique and interesting. I was so hyped for Amsterdam, and it fucking exceeded it. It's yeah, Amsterdam is brilliant. 100%. Everybody should go. It's so wonderful.
Yes, please contribute to our economy.
I contributed a lot, not as much as Shri, but yeah, it's that's wonderful. But there's some nice stuff in Copenhagen, I guess. We saw a few cool things.
Your gimmick.
They did. There was a lot of gimmicks stolen from other European cities. I've noticed there was the fucking stupid guards we have outside Buckingham Palace with the tall hats and like, ooh, they're silent. Like take photos with tourists and that sort of thing. They've got that here. They've got some of them here. Like, what the fuck? You stole our lame gimmick. It was not cool when we did it, and now you're doing it as well. That's even lamer. And they seem to have desperately tried to copy Amsterdam in many points. The coloured houses and
take Dutch architecture, throw a primary colour on it. Look, now it's Danish.
yeah. It was just, I don't know. Like, maybe other people have different experiences of Copenhagen, but walking around that, I've not been struck by much that's particularly unique. As someone I'd say I'm quite well travelled when it comes to Europe. I don't know. It's Roskilde I was much more impressed with than
the boats and
It's got the Viking boats. A lot of that's on display. Like some really interesting old buildings, old architecture that's really unique and captivating. It's like, oh, this is nice. We don't see this much anywhere else in the world. Whereas Copenhagen just kind of nah. Tivoli Gardens though. Tivoli Gardens was fucking fun. I mean, I'm not really a connoisseur when it comes to theme parks, not been much, but in Tivoli Gardens, they have a VR headset that you can wear when you're on one of the roller coasters, and it makes you think you're flying with dragons. It is fucking brilliant. Like, this whole trip was worth it just for that. It was so fucking fun.
Yeah, the roller coaster is called the Demon, and to be honest, it gives kind of a Dark Souls feel because the dragon is battling a demon. So
it was so fun.
Like we were at first a bit worried that because it's VR, like maybe it's kind of off-throwing, like it doesn't suit the ride, but it ended up suiting it perfectly. Yeah,
as in like it would be out of sync, like you wouldn't know when a dip was coming, and this was a very kind of volatile ride, as in like big dips, like loop-de-loop and all that shit. But it fits it perfectly. Like you think you're flying through mountains. Oh, should we go there again? Yeah, like probably. Fuck Malmo. Yeah, let's just let's just go see it. Let's just go to Tivoli Gardens again.
Well, we need to go to Malmo so people can, when people say again Sweden is a paradise, that we can say like we've been there and we can say whether it is a paradise or not.
Okay. We can do a podcast in Malmo as well, but I wanted to lower any and all expectations for it because, it's been a topic of a lot of discussion for a lot of people, and take on that discussion
it probably won't be the utter apocalypse.
I'm going to be so underqualified to make any decent call. Literally, we're just going to go. We're going to try and see a nice castle, maybe have a bit of food. Walk about a bit. I'm not going to go to the no-go zones. Like, even if I go there, even if I was provoking and like, actually it is really violent in Malmo, no matter what the Swedish government is saying, it's really bad, but like the left will rationalise it. There's countless videos out there. Again, look at Tim Pool's research. That is a lot more comprehensive than anything
we could ever do.
I mean, it's like that's not the objective we're going in under. And also, I would be terrified to actually speak, because, if we've got the mic out there, we're talking in Sweden, like, we might get put in prison. Swedish government has become incredibly authoritarian when it comes to truth about their policies, so, yeah, I'm not keen to start a state incident, but well, we'll see what we'll see. But also the problem with anecdotal evidence is it's fucking anecdotal and it's really,
Yeah.
really not representative. And yeah, but the problem with statistical evidence is everybody's fucking lying.
Yeah,
Look at
especially
the angry foreigner on YouTube is very, very good with this. Very good at showing inconsistencies in the statistics that have been provided by official
I
institutions.
find it funny how Sweden tries to solve things like these statistics don't look good. You know, we should stop gathering data.
Whee! Facts don't care about your fucking feelings, Sweden. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it seems weird that we're even going there because we're so. Sweden as a society is just something that.
Yeah, okay, but it's just so we can tell people like, yes, we've actually been there.
Well, and also it'd be
Yeah.
nice to see a castle.
Yeah,
And also the bridge, the Oresund, I can't remember. Oresund, is it? Is it called Oresund? I don't know, the bridge. The bridge that's in
I'm not
the
sure.
bridge.
No,
Yeah, the big bridge between Copenhagen and Malmo. It seems like a very, very impressive structure. I'm very excited to go on it.
And the castle in Malmo seems pretty good.
Yeah,
From what I've seen in pictures, but I'll see it's better.
It seems very nice. So
Yeah.
we're gonna go there. We're gonna have a nice time. Yeah, I wouldn't want to spend prolonged time in Sweden. Like, well, Sweden, do your thing, but
I also don't want to contribute too much to their economy.
yeah, culturally and the government, it's just so leftist and so
Everything that we don't stand for.
yeah, more or less. But okay, well, I guess we can wrap this up. Is there anything we haven't gone into in regards to what have we done this trip? What have we done? Oh yeah, Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday we went to the Viking boat museum in Roskilde. I highly recommend. Like, Roskilde is a very nice city. A lot of cool Viking shit there.
Yeah, it's mostly research based though.
Yeah. Mostly, I think maybe timing when you go there because they will have like impressive showings.
Season.
Yeah, it's
usually they actually have they recreated a boat that's a Viking boat, longship that could actually be used to go overseas. They actually did cross the North Sea to Scotland with it. And during the summer, I think you can actually have little trips with that boat, and that would be very nice. But since it's like, okay, it's spring, but it's not exactly spring here, so yeah, everything was kind of abandoned in that area. So it was mostly just the museum inside where you could just like look at boats they archaeologically dug up from after having to drain a big part of a water body because
it's quite interesting,
yeah.
like looking at the structures and thinking what they were able to accomplish with them, how advanced they were in their shipbuilding despite limited resources.
Yeah, it's just like how they didn't measure anything. It's just all just like eyeballing things, and that's quite. That's probably where all the master shipbuilders from the myths come from. Because like there were just a few people who kind of knew their shit on how to build boats, and you couldn't exactly give instructions to other people because just like,
amazingly fine-tuned skills.
Yeah, and it's also people forget that Vikings didn't only raided like the people. Like the Viking technically means pirates, but if you talk about the Viking age, people there, they also traded. And they needed to trade because their boats are like made of lots of different items, lots of them, and not all of them are found in Scandinavia. So it's quite amazing what they've accomplished, and it's kind of hilarious that they've been everywhere.
Oh yeah, their trading networks, incredible how far they were able to go, including to the United States before Columbus.
Actually, some Scandinavian people have a bit of Native American blood in them because of it. Yeah,
that's amazing. They even came back. It's we have this sort of arrogance about history a lot of the time that we think our most recent achievements are so groundbreaking, and we think of a lot of people
already went to.
Yeah. It's been the more you study history, the more you realize so much has already been done. And when you think like, oh, this is a brand new, unique idea, and then, oh, actually they tried that before and it didn't work. You're a moron. Because everybody's a moron. We really are. We're not that clever as individual species.
Yeah, it's kind of hilarious how humans have been studying history for thousands of years, and still we're quite dipshits.
We're getting there, though. There are some cool things.
Yeah, okay.
Like,
in the last 100 years, we did advance quite a lot, but that's not for the good reasons, actually.
Well, yeah, mostly due to war, I guess. Like, well, that's always been the driving factor in civilizations, really.
Yeah.
Like Britain and France, the reason we've advanced is competition. It's drove up standards and just warring with each other. Second World War, First World War was so instrumental in pushing technology, because that's a great motivator for, in lieu of just general capitalist principles, a great motivator for advancing and reinventing technology and searching out new solutions is to avoid annihilation.
But about the Netherlands, for hundreds of years, we were a big competitor on the world stage, and we had to constantly try to defend ourselves from the French, from the English, from the Germans, from everyone, and it's raised the quality of our country quite a bit. Only recently we've become a bit less important.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Hey, you can make an exit with us, and
yeah, that would be great. I want the Guldens to come back.
Oh. So what, are we going to end this podcast on the message, war is good? So all those people around the world currently enduring conflict, getting bombed to shit, like constantly under the threat of people in jackboots and rifles coming to slaughter you and your entire family, don't worry, because it's probably going to lead to some nice technology along the line. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for listening to Punch on Philosophy.